So, Black Ops 4. I'm gonna be extremely real with you guys here and tell you right away that this is neither my favourite nor my least favourite Call of Duty. This game is not inherently bad in any way, and when I played it I was genuinely enjoying myself more than I have through the last few Call of Duty games, more so than Black Ops 3. And I'm saying today that I believe, personally, that this game is better than Black Ops 3. I think it's going to be in the long run, and I think in just terms of content it will be a much better game. But that's all up to you guys. If you like a game more, I'm not going to argue with you. Personally, I think everyone is entitled to their own opinion on what they enjoy. This is just my honest review, my view of the game. Everyone's entitled, like I said, to their own opinion, and I'm going to get into it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the gameplay. The gameplay to me feels different. Very different to anything we've ever experienced in any other Call of Duty game. As you probably know, and if you've been following my channel for a long time, I wasn't there to play the alpha build of this game at E3 2018. I wasn't there at all. I couldn't go there. I really wanted to because I knew this game would be playable, but I feel like it was for the best that I didn't play that build of the game and actually ended up playing the beta build, which is, in the essence, a demo of the final game's multiplayer. And like I said, I personally enjoyed myself and had a lot of fun with this beta, and I think for this game to really perform, you need to have someone to play with, whether it be in like a duo or a squad. You need friends to play this game for it to be a more enjoyable experience. I played all the games in this video, in solo. I still had fun though. It wasn't as fun as it was when playing with other people, but it is still a fun experience, and I do not recommend, by the way, that you play with anyone that is a noob, I guess. Someone who isn't very good at the game. I recommend playing with people who will listen to you and actually, you'll listen to them. You'll have cohesive work. You will play properly and as a team. That's the best way, in my opinion, to experience the game. Like I said, though, I still did have fun on single player, or I guess there is no single player, one of the biggest cons of the game, but I did enjoy myself on just playing on my own, just solos. And I'm going to say that the game feels very fluid, much more fluid than Black Ops 3 did. Black Ops 3 had too many people that would abuse the exo jump, too many people that would abuse the overpowered slide. I guess they call it, I call it super sliding, where you constantly slide. You could do that in the first week of the Black Ops 4 beta, which I am very glad that they removed. But I'm also very disappointed that they did add something in which kind of made the game feel like we've basically got a prelude to Exos. We already have the grapple from Ruin. As you can see in the gameplay, I was using Ruin through the entire thing. In the game, personally, Ruin is my favourite specialist. I did get to try all of the specialists, but unfortunately, when I was using them, I didn't capture any gameplay. And they were very fun. I do really like the way they balance the specialists in this game, where you can't all just be the same one and completely spam the entire match, which is perfect in my opinion. I really do like Chaos Team Deathmatch, where you can be just two of the same specialist on one team, because it really does add I guess a layer of support to the game. It's really good, and to be fair, this game really does have a problem with some specialists, some being way more overpowered than others. One specialist, I can't remember his name, has a somewhat wall hack ability where he can turn on his goggles things, and for you and the rest of your team, they can see the players through the walls. I very much so disagree with that, and I think it should only be available for the person using the specialist. I genuinely don't like the specialist where it gives you that kind of vision. I really don't. But this game, with its health system, that's one thing I really want to talk about. It's something so different that we've never really experienced before in a Call of Duty game, where you have to manually heal. That is something I never expected to see in a Call of Duty game in my God knows how many years I've been playing COD now. And it's very refreshing to see it because it adds a skill gap into the game. This is going to separate the players who are smart enough to use their healing option and those who aren't. The ones who will kind of get a few kills, step back a bit, heal up a little bit, then run back into the combat. And it will separate the ones who aren't the ones that will heal and will kind of just run and gun throughout the entire game and not think about healing, which is, I guess, okay if you do that, but personally I think healing is the very smart option. You are guaranteed to get further on. I really do like it. I think this should probably be a thing that sticks with future Call of Duty installments, where you have to actually have a skill gap on those who are good at healing and those who don't know how to heal at any situation, because this is genuinely, in my opinion, a very good idea. But anyway, speaking about health-related things, 150 HP. I have a bone to pick with this. I genuinely dislike this. This is one of the biggest problems I have with this game. This game makes every single weapon usable feel extremely weak, and if it's in the gameplay that I'm showing you, as I played on all consoles, I should be showing gameplay from, every console from PS4 to Xbox to PC. I should have gameplay of that. But as you could see in the videos, I was shooting at people thinking that I've killed them because I'm so used to the old time to kill, the old health system where you only had 100 health, where I would shoot at them, think I've done enough damage through instinct, turn around, just get sprayed the hell out of with someone with an SMG, probably the same person I was just trying to kill. It's a very unfortunate thing that I think they could easily change and make more fair if they just lowered the health just a little bit. Just to 125 health, the game I think would be flawless in terms of just combat. I really enjoy the combat in this game, but when you're shooting at someone and you think you've killed them because you're so used to the old time to kill, and that's not just a problem with me, I've seen it in multiple reviews, multiple videos of people who tried to kill someone, turned a corner, thought they killed them, just to get sprayed down by them because, they're probably just as surprised that they're not dead. It's a ridiculous thing, I don't think it should be happening, and especially with the 150 health, good luck trying to win a 2-on-1 fight consistently. You will not win those too often. I was honestly getting into so many 2-on-1 fights I was just getting slapped from every side from. It was just ridiculous. And I'm not inherently a bad Call of Duty player. I like to say I'm just a little bit above average. I'm okay. Okay, that's the word I'm trying to say. I'm okay at Call of Duty. I'm not terrible. I'm speaking about the multiplayer here. Apparently, according to some people, I'm quite good at the zombies, but that's a completely different thing. And I'm just saying now that how good you are at one game mode does not even remotely correlate to how good you are in another one. So, do I think the time to kill needs to be reduced? Definitely. I think it needs to be taken down to at least 125, and they could stick it to 150 in game modes like Heist, and they could easily stick it to 150 in the Battle Royale mode or Blackout mode that we know is coming for the beta in September the 10th. I really, really, really think they should nerf their health. I think it would be a good idea, people would enjoy it a lot more. I just think genuinely it is one of the best options they could do, and that's essentially all I can talk about gameplay. All I can say is that the gameplay feels a lot more competitive than previous Call of Duty titles. I definitely think this is going to have a field day in competitive, just competitions for Call of Duty, like COD World League. This is definitely going to do well. I think the gameplay, like I said, is very fluid. It feels great with the specialists. I think it's great that you can only choose one specialist now instead of having a spam fest of all of them. If you want to know, Ruin is my favourite specialist. Next to that, it's the one with the grenade launcher, I forgot the name. It's not the one with the Annihilator, that's the revolver gun. But anyway, that's my second favourite specialist from there on. I personally think the gameplay is very good. It could use a few adjustments here and there, like I said, the health could be a little reduced for certain game modes. But that's genuinely all I can talk about the gameplay. But anyway, moving on, I want to talk about the graphics. This is probably one of the most controversial points that people bring up when talking about this game. People do not like the graphics in this game, and to an extent I do agree, but I do think the graphical style in this game is just genuinely part of the art style. Black Ops has always had a very colourful and vibrant art style that they've kind of kept throughout the ages, a very, I don't want to say clay-looking design to everything, but it kind of feels that way with models. Like, they look kind of clay-looking, they don't look too realistic, they can pass off as a bit cartoony sometimes. But I do like that art style. It's one of my favourites in Call of Duty, and it's kind of an exception with, Black Ops 1, where it was a bit more grainy and a bit more realistic. But then they decided to go that direction with Black Ops 2, which I personally don't mind. I really do like the graphic style, but that's not what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the genuine graphics overall, okay? And I'm here to say that these do look worse than Black Ops 3. And I'm not going to give any excuse that this is just a beta. There's no excuse for that. I do think that these will be the finalized graphics for the game. Don't get me wrong, okay? On PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X, they do look better, mainly on Xbox One X, because the textures, I believe, are actually at 4K, and it's not just an upscaled 1080p. So it is real 4K 60 on Xbox One X, but on PS4 Pro it is just upscaled 1080p to 4K, which is, it looks worse, but on the Xbox One X, the graphics do look really good, okay? They don't look better than Black Ops 3's would with 4K, but they look passable, okay? It does still look like a 2015 game, but it's okay. And not to mention that, the resolution of the graphics on consoles like the original Xbox One and the original PS4, it's almost embarrassing how bad they look, unfortunately, and if nothing about this game screams next gen, when you're looking at it. Nothing about it at all. This could easily pass for a game that came out in 2014 to 2015. Like, it's in no way graphically mind-blowing, and some of the lighting effects come off even worse than Black Ops 3 as well, which is just another thing with the graphics. If you haven't seen Black Ops 3's lighting system, they use a volumetric lighting system, which looks really beautiful in-game, and it is back in this game, but it's a lot weaker. It's kind of unnoticeable whilst you're playing, and it's only in areas in some maps, like in this little church area in this map, where you can actually see some of the volumetric lighting coming through the windows, and that's about it for me. I'm sure if on PC they gave the option to turn it off, it would be a lot more noticeable, but I personally think that a lot of the graphics in this game feel weaker than Black Ops 3's, and I want to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that it is the beta and they were trying to optimize it as much as they can for all consoles, but I don't think that's an excuse to use. This game genuinely doesn't look as good as Black Ops 3, doesn't look as good as World War II, it doesn't even look as good as Infinite Warfare, and Infinite Warfare was still a very, I guess, poorly graphical based game, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It wasn't the greatest performing thing, but the graphics overall, they're okay, they're passable for a game coming out this year, but I think beyond this point, if they tried to use these graphical just styles again, it wouldn't work, it wouldn't be passable, because just reasons, especially since sooner or later we're going to be leaping to the next console generation, and just having this level of detail, it wouldn't be passable at that point. It would be very looked down upon and frowned on. So I think this game, like I said, is passable, but it needs to improve in the future. It's okay for now, is what I'm trying to say. So that's essentially all I can talk about with the graphics, okay? They definitely look the best on Xbox One X, unless you're playing on PC, where you can actually turn it up a lot more, which looks a lot better on PC. I should have PC gameplay in the background right now, excuse my terrible gameplay. But either way, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. The user interface. I do not like it. Honestly, this is one of the worst user interfaces we've had with Call of Duty in general. If you've ever played Destiny, you know what this user interface is. It's the one with the little ball, where you can float it around the screen and go to your options. But unfortunately on Black Ops 4, it is the most flimsy, touch-sensitive thing I've ever seen in a video game. It feels horrible. Horrible. And they could easily improve it by doing something, by adding D-pad support. So just a quick little update as I'm butting into the editing here. It turns out that Treyarch have actually added D-pad support for this menu, which is incredible news. I'm so glad that they actually listened to that. But anyway, getting back into the video, this point is irrelevant now. See ya. So yeah, the user interface, it is genuinely just kind of annoying. I'm going to say that now. It's a pain, okay? It really is. And hopefully within now to launch they change something. Like I said, D-pad support could be added, which I really hope it is. I don't want to play this game with the terrible menu or the terrible user interface. And unfortunately, when you're playing the game and you unlock something, it just takes up so much of the screen. And I think it was Optimus who made this point, where he said that when you unlock a weapon and kill someone, you have a massive box that has your weapon in it that takes up 1/6 of the screen. You have your health on screen, you have the kill feed, you have your points at the top right corner or top left corner, you have the fog of war map, you have your kill streaks, and you have your weapon at the bottom with your ammo in it. I'm just saying now that that leaves about less than 40% of the screen visible for you to see, which is really unfortunate, and I hope they make a change to that and make it so the weapon doesn't actually have to appear, and it's only like a little icon with the name of the weapon. That could easily fix one of the problems and make the screen at least 20% more visible than it was, so giving us about 50% visibility of the screen when too much stuff is happening, which would be an incredible idea. But other than that, the user interface in this game is just completely all over the place. It genuinely is pretty bad. And like I said, hopefully they add something to fix the menus and the creator class, because I genuinely dislike it in this game. It's probably one of the worst Call of Duty has ever experienced, something that they could easily fix by adding something like D-pad support, or just changing it in general and not making it a, you know, like, navigational thing like in Destiny. It's very, very annoying for a game. It didn't work well in Destiny, it won't work well here. Please, Treyarch, if you are watching this video, change it. Make it D-pad compatible or something. Do something to your game, okay? But anyway, moving on from the user interface, we have performance. Now, this is where things start to get a bit weird, okay? This game has odd performance. I'm just gonna throw that out there now. Despite being despite being a graphical downgrade to Black Ops 3, this game somehow manages to run much worse. Now, if you didn't know, on Black Ops 3, the game was running 1080p on the PS4 system, 4K on the PS4 Pro, and about 900p on the Xbox One, and it doesn't run any higher on the Xbox One X because it's not been enhanced yet. But the game was a constant, solid 60 FPS. I barely noticed any drops in that game. Unfortunately, with this game, especially on week 1, the performance was horrendous. The game could drop to below 30 FPS at certain areas, and when spawning in, it could be at least 40 FPS, or at the most 50. This game could not hit 60 FPS and stay there. It would hit 60 FPS for about 2 seconds, drop straight back down. The performance was everywhere, and they kind of put a fix in, I guess you can call it that, but the gameplay's FPS, or the game's FPS does drop, and I'm deliberately uploading this gameplay in 60 FPS so you can see the drops, where they still do exist in game, obviously, as I'm showing, but it's genuinely unfortunate that that's the case. Hopefully, the game is much more optimized when it releases, and I can't blame the graphics either, because the graphics are objectively worse than Black Ops 3's, so why it performs worse is beyond me. It might just be the way, like, the game has been optimized in general. Hopefully they do change something there, and this one I could equate to it being just a beta, in quotes, other than the game being basically a demo. I could equate it to that. That is a fair argument, but I don't know, man. I really want this game to perform much better when it releases. Hopefully it stays at a solid 60 FPS, especially on the Pro systems and the X system. I really want it to do well. I want this game to perform better, and they promised to release this game at 4K 60 on the Xbox One X and upscaled on the PS4 Pro. Hopefully they don't mess this up somehow. It will probably take a miracle for it to launch perfectly with perfect frame rates with 60 constantly. Black Ops 3 couldn't even keep a 60 FPS mark through all the things. If there was too much going on screen, it would definitely drop, and it was noticeable. So hopefully, like I said, when this game is released in full in October, it does actually perform much better than the beta did, because if I'm going to say anything, it was embarrassing for Activision and for Treyarch in their performance of the beta. But that's really all I can talk about this beta. Overall, my experience on it was very mixed. I really liked the gameplay, but I really disliked how they handled it for the beta, how there were so many errors with the game, and luckily Treyarch, like I said, are listening, so it's a massive thumbs up from me that they are actually paying attention to their fans and making changes to the game. I think that it's a very welcome decision, but other than that, this game really needs some changes, and like I said, this game really needs to have a chance to grow on you to be experienced properly. So hopefully you guys give it that chance to grow. Hopefully you guys give it that chance to just really have a soft spot for it, I think. This game, don't go into this game with extremely high expectations, because you will always disappoint yourself in a Call of Duty game with extremely high expectations. Go in with sort of, I guess, okay expectations, expecting, I guess, some aspects of the game to be really good, but then again, this is just a beta review, and these things are extremely subject to change, and when the game releases, I will have a full review, including zombies, blackout, and I guess some of those specialist missions that they recommended, or they said were in the game. So anyway, I've been Zombies. Hopefully you enjoyed this video as much as I did enjoy making it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, and thank you so much for watching. My Twitter is below waiting for you. Bye-bye.